It's the J.R. Hendrick Texan Gentleman, dealing with the early life of J.R. Hendrick in a narrated format. Enjoy the fun, my friends. Hello, welcome to the podcast. With me, because JR is on assignment, is Brent Clark. Glad to be here. Now, this episode is called A Pomp and Citcumstance. We're going to be drinking root beer. And so you know, we're going to be drinking every time that JR gets something congratulatory. Because it is his graduation in this episode. One of the massive episodes we've been looking for. We've been going on since July of 93. So I'm thinking, why not? Here we go. So we start with 14 Heritage Gate, movie theater. Jim is with his staff, the Dream Team, discussing next week's campaign and press appearances. Running the whole meeting is Jim's press manager, John Sestina. This man would help Jim in what would be his last 5 months in office on what Jim would call his final frontier. Okay, so it's 1 p.m. We're at the Radisson Hotel in Lubbock. The family checks into some large set of suites. Betsy would share a room with Uncle Tom and Diane and Hannon. JR was to share a suite with Cousin Joe, Sergeant Forever. Amy, Kathleen, and Elizabeth Marie would share a suite together. Okay, 3 p.m. Central. Arriving in Lubbock to greet Betsy, along with Madison and the kids, is Kyle. Betsy had scheduled a room for everyone to have dinner at Texas Pizza at 5:30 p.m. Okay, so it's 5:30 p.m. Everybody's having dinner pizza at Texas Pizza with a choice of 12 pizzas, along with a cinnamon cake. And Kyle gets upset. Hold up, Mama. Why ain't Christine here? And Betsy's like, well, Christine has an outing with friends tomorrow. One of them is coming to town just for the weekend. And Kyle's mocking Christine. He's like, home steam scammer. Don't even bother to be with the family. So Uncle Tom, he leans over his plate. Kyle, it is the night before your brother's graduation. I expect you to mind your manners. And so Sarge walks over to JR. You okay, JR? This would be more awesome. if Daddy could be here. And Forever said, I know, but Miss Betsy says that Jim gets to come home in 5 months. And Gerald's like, I do everything I can to please him, please my parents. And Sarge's like, are you kidding me? Actually writing a book? Forever said, your granddad Swain said, but if any of his grandkids could write a book, it would be you. It was just a paper I started out in January. Jared said, come on, Carmen. I want to stop over at Jehovah's Assemblies of Christ to pray. Okay, so obviously Kyle has upset the apple cart, but he hasn't approached JR yet, so that says something. 10 p.m. Eastern. In Washington, D.C., Jim is lying next to Clara, and they are discussing the party on the lawn of Blake Carter that evening. Okay, so now we have to go over to graduation day. Right, graduation day, 7 a.m. Central. Pomp and Citcumstance is being played at the beginning of the class of 1996 Texas Tech commencement at the Lubbock Municipal Auditorium. Many men part of the Order of the Dove and the Assemblies of Christ. We're carrying doves as they are and other members of a Holy Spirit club. Were ushered to their seats. Meanwhile, Jim and Clara are watching the ceremony, the commencement ceremony on TV together on Rainer News. Jim takes his finger and points where he sees Jara. Damn sure am proud, Jim said. So 7:30 a.m., Brent Clark, salutatorian, graduated with honors, journalism, public affairs, Holy Spirit Club. Connie Addison Brookins, Charles Butler Coleman, and DC Jim is getting impatient. Let's get those wherefores, skip the wherefores and whereas, and get my boy on that stage. 9:30 a.m. Kristen Camilla Haig, James Ryan Hendricks Sr. A thunderous applause breaks as JR goes to the podium to get his Bachelor's of Arts in Public Affairs. Okay, so it's 11:30 a.m. The family is having lunch at Frist Cafe. The first cafe franchise was opened on April 14th, 1956 in Washington, D.C. Founded by variety chef who has a PhD in culinary arts. By 1960, they had branches in Florida, Texas, California, New Jersey, Ohio, Delaware. JR is having his favorite celebratory meal, spaghetti with Parmesan cheese, garlic toast, au gratin potatoes, and key lime pie. Just as they were getting ready to leave the cafe, Betsy takes JR aside, and she says, "Friday morning, your daddy sent me this email, and he wanted you to read it," Betsy said, kissing her son on the cheek and hugging him. "I knew you've always had your doubts, but your daddy loves you so much." Okay, so here it is. To my eldest son. Words that can't express how proud I am of you today. I apologize for not being there for you on this big day. But please know that on conservative news, one conservative news channel is uncovering your graduation. And I'll be watching it here in D.C., being proud of you in spirit. There's two things I've always known about you. One, that you are smart. Two, is that you're an awesome guy. From your loving father. Okay, now we got to drink to that one. JR told me later that left an indelible mark on him. Tears are welling up in JR's eyes. And Kyle turns around and noticed. "This idiot's gonna cry," Kyle said. "Just be quiet," Betsy said, needling Kyle. He's needling him out the door. Okay, so it's 1 p.m. Eastern. In Washington, D.C., Jim gets a call from his brother Carl, who said that the ceremony was awesome, but he had to duck out before the end to catch a flight to Dallas, and then to Salt Lake to get to their new home in South Jordan, which is just outside of Salt Lake. 3 p.m. Central. Back at the hotel, Cousin Joe had left during graduation lunch, take a flight back to Dallas. And that meant that JR and Kevin McDonald would be bunked together again, like old times. Seriously, JR, when I'm there, cut your brother some slack, Kevin said. "So long as he's calm," JR said. "He starts like a big Billy. I will stand up to him. Your mother wants calm. She misses your father, just like you miss Kristen." Anything wrong with that? Just saying. Okay, so it's 7 p.m. Central. The Hendrick family is having a graduation dinner at Kentucky Bell. When JR gets his chalupa burrito and 2 combination burritos. And here comes Kyle walking all over to JR. Peg me over here, Kyle said, laughing. Thomas grabs him. Hey, watch your manners and watch your mouth. This is his graduation. He has the right to pig out if he wants to. Don't defend Junior, Thomas, Betsy said. And that's when Uncle Tom stood up. Betsy, you know better. You know better. We've been raised better. I watched as Daddy and Mama helped take over in raising JR because you and Jim were too busy enabling Kyle. And Amy Kathleen's like, can we not fight in a public place? This is JR's graduation party. We should be happy for him. And Kyle, you have to be ashamed of yourself. Can we maintain peace over an argument? Diane asked. You know, Uncle Tom, Amy Kathleen, Diane, you're right. I'm not even going to dignify what my brother said in a response. I'm a college graduate, and I expect to be treated more properly. So it's more like, boom. We have to drink that in some ways. In fact, I didn't want to do this. But we got to. It's a graduation. Kyle's being healed. We have to give the man the bell because he deserves it. Wrong one. Here we go. May 12th. 6:30 a.m. Central. The family has breakfast in the hotel. But of course, absent is Kyle, who has to go up to a rig in Lubbock on location early. 8:30 a.m. Eastern. With Clara going to the Assemblies of Christ Church via limo, Jim decides to get his Chrysler van to go to Arlington Heights Baptist Church. With his longing for Betsy, he wanted to stay a healthy Baptist husband. It was a miracle, though, considering that he cheated on Betsy a number of times and womanizer. But he claims he loves her. 12 p.m. Central. JR has Carmen stop off at a Dairy Queen for let's call it Dairy Club for him and Kevin McDonald to have lunch. I'm trying to tell you, JR, be friendly to your brother, Kevin said. I've heard all the stories for 4 years. Kyle can't help it because Daddy made him that way. His bark is always worse than his bite. Well, you never had to fight him and kick his butt like I did when I was 14, Jared said. Yeah, I know. The fight by the lake. Think about it. Things can be better. Kevin McDonald was the biggest optimist. Okay. 1 p.m. Eastern. Jim had been home for a couple of hours. Of course, he calls Betsy, wish her happy Mother's Day. And after returning from church, he and Clara had taken a swim in the pool, and then a burger lunch, and they're just together. And that's the end of the story, Pomp and Citcumstance. Because it's so short, I'm going to give it 2.5 root beers and JR's graduation diploma. Brent, 2.5 root beers and my college diploma. Hope you enjoy listening to the J.R. Hendrick Texan Gentleman. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, become a part of the adventure. This is the James Hendrick Empowerment Network saying until next time, get ready for the rest of the story. It's going to be more interesting from here.